You might have read about the recent extreme rainfall and flooding in Somalia, which happened right after a prolonged period of drought. This catastrophic event in Somalia and neighboring Eastern African countries is being called a once-in-a-century occurrence. Scientists are pointing fingers at multiple factors including El Nino and the Indian Ocean Dipole as the reasons behind this catastrophic event. As El Nino and Indian Ocean Dipole has become a hot topic, in this video we will be focusing on these two phenomena. Understanding climatology and climate-related phenomenon is crucial for both prelims and mains. UPSC frequently asked questions from these areas. In 2022, they framed a question on longest day of the year. In 2020, they framed a question on jet streams and cyclone. In 2017, UPSC asked a question connecting both the phenomenon we are about to discuss, El Nino and the Indian Ocean Dipole. In this video, we will learn about these two climate phenomena in 4 sections. First, we will learn what El Nino is. Second, what are its impacts? Third, we will learn about the Indian Ocean Dipole. And lastly, we will see how these two phenomena impact each other, leading to situations like flood in Somalia. So let's begin the first section. Before moving into the complexities of El Nino, let us first understand what will be the climate in a normal day. In equatorial Pacific, in a normal year, the trade winds blow across the Pacific Ocean near the equator from east to west. These winds push warm surface waters towards Asia, allowing the cooler water from the deep to rise near the coast of South America, a process known as upwelling. This upwelling brings nutrients that support marine life and boost the fishing industries. Everyone is happy, but here comes the villain. Due to some reasons not yet entirely unraveled by the science, these trade winds can unexpectedly weaken. This change causes the warm water that normally pools near Asia to shift back towards the east, towards the central and eastern Pacific. The movement of this warm water suppresses the upwelling of cold, nutrient-rich water along the South American coast. The shift in water temperatures across the Pacific affects the jet streams and atmospheric circulation, altering the weather patterns globally. It can lead to more rain and flooding in some areas like the southern United States and Peru, and drought in places like Australia and Southeast Asia. For India, El Nino means weaker monsoons, which can lead to less rainfall in India. If we took the rainfall trends in India over the 100 or 150 years, it suggests that severe drought and drought-like conditions have always occurred in El Nino years. El Nino events are part of a natural cycle known as the El Nino Southern Oscillation, which also includes the cool phase known as La Nina. La Nina is essentially the opposite of El Nino. It occurs when the trade winds that blow across the Pacific Ocean are stronger than usual. This pushes more warm surface water towards Asia and increases the upwelling of cold, nutrient-rich water in the Eastern Pacific. As a result, during La Nina event, the water in the central and eastern Pacific Ocean is cooler than average. This cool phase influences global climate patterns. It can lead to drier and hotter conditions in the southern United States and parts of South America, while places like Indonesia, Australia, and India experience more rainfall. Now, let's talk about its impacts. As I already mentioned, El Nino isn't just a Pacific problem. It disrupts the weather patterns around the globe. Here are some of the major impacts. First, floods-drought dichotomy. Some places like the southern United States and Peru might get a lot more rain than usual, which can lead to floods. Other areas like Australia and parts of Africa and Southeast Asia might get very little rain, causing droughts. In India, as we have already discussed, it leads to drought or drought-like situation. Second, the extreme weathers. It can make the weather hotter in some places and cooler in others, leading to changes in normal weather conditions. Thirdly, it affects food production. The changes in weather can affect the growth of crops, leading to less food being grown. In India, this is particularly concerning for crops like the rice and sugarcane that requires a lot of water. Fourth, it threatens marine life. El Nino can hurt fish and other marine animals because the water gets warmer and doesn't have as many nutrients. This in turn threatens the fishing sector. Fifth, the health issues. There can be more health problems like diseases spread by mosquitoes, as the weather can create conditions that help these insects thrive. In India, drought conditions can lead to heat-related illnesses and poor water quality, which can cause waterborne diseases. Last but not least, the wildfires. Some areas might see more wildfires because it's drier and hotter than usual. For instance, during El Nino years, places like California and Australia experience more intense and frequent wildfires due to drier forest and grasslands, which can ignite and spread fire more easily. So now we will move on to Indian Ocean Dipole. It's like El Nino's lesser known cousin. While El Nino occurs in Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean Dipole occurs in Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean Dipole refers to the difference in sea surface temperatures between two areas of the Indian Ocean, that is, the western part that is near the African coast and the eastern part that is near Indonesia. Based on the temperature differences, the IOD has three phases, that is, the neutral phase, positive phase and the negative phase. In the neutral phase, the sea surface temperatures in the eastern and the western parts of the Indian Ocean are relatively similar. This phase is associated with typical weather patterns and doesn't significantly impact the climate in a major way. A positive Indian Ocean dipole occurs when the sea surface temperature is warmer in the western Indian Ocean and cooler in the eastern part. This temperature difference can lead to drier conditions in Southeast Asia and Australia and wetter conditions in East Africa. In India, positive Indian Ocean dipole brings more monsoon rainfall. The positive phase can exacerbate droughts in Australia and Indonesia and increase rainfall and the risk of flooding in parts of East Africa. In the negative Indian Ocean dipole, the situation is reversed. The eastern Indian Ocean becomes warmer than the western part. This leads to increased rainfall in Southeast Asia and Australia and drier conditions in East Africa. In India, negative Indian Ocean dipole obstructs monsoon. So it is easy to remember, right? Positive IOD means more monsoon rainfall in India and negative IOD means lesser monsoon rainfall in India. Now we will move to the final section, that is, how Indian Ocean dipole and El Nino impact each other. You know that both these phenomena affect climate patterns, but their impact varies depending on whether they occur together or separately. I already mentioned that El Nino event is associated with weaker monsoons in India. We also studied that a positive Indian Ocean dipole generally leads to a better monsoon rains in India, while a negative IOD weakens the monsoon rainfall. So imagine a positive Indian Ocean dipole occurs during an El Nino year. Yes, you are right. A positive IOD can reduce the dry conditions usually caused by El Nino. For example, during El Nino years like 1994 and 2006, India did not face droughts because of a strong positive Indian Ocean dipole. Now imagine a year when a negative Indian Ocean dipole coincides with El Nino. Simple, right? The monsoon rainfall in India will be much lower. But also note that the interaction of these phenomena is not that easy and sometimes it is also much unpredictable. Such interplays influences frequency of extreme weather events in India such as heat waves, cyclones, etc. Understanding the interplay between the Indian Ocean dipole and El Nino is crucial for long-term climate predictions in our country. This knowledge aids us in agricultural planning, water resource management, and preparing for potential natural disasters. So we have understood what El Nino is, what the Indian Ocean dipole is, and how these two are interacting. Now, what are the questions that we can expect? For prelims, we should understand both these phenomena thoroughly, including the geographical locations impacted by these phenomena and how it impacts India particularly. For males, we should look at their broader implications, how these phenomena interact, how it will impact India's climate, agriculture, disaster management, etc., as well as how we can address the challenges posed by them. For a thorough overview of these important topics, remember to download Yoda IAS workbook on the topic. The link is provided in the description given below. With this, we are concluding today's topic. See you in the next video. Take care and stay safe.